In the quiet corner of Earth's outer command station, the alert light blinked red dot. It was not loud, just a soft beep. But for the crew of Station 9, it was strange. This part of space hadn't seen anything in weeks. Officer Mira leaned forward. She wiped the dust from the old console and squinted at the screen. Unusual signal, Sector ZN4. She said to no one in particular. Very weak, not human. Behind her, a voice replied. Maybe it's just an echo. Old tech. She shook her head. No, there's something else. It's a message. The room grew quiet as the signal played through the speakers. Static crackled. Then a child's voice broke through, soft, scared. And not in any human language. It repeated 3 times, then stopped. Get the commander, Mira whispered. On the other side of the galaxy. On a small green planet called Solon 3, a man named Thomas sat alone in a wooden house by the river. Birds chirped. The wind moved gently through the tall trees. Toma was fishing, but not really for the fish. He just liked the quiet. He had been a soldier once, brave, skilled, respected. But war left deep marks, and Toma had walked away from it all 5 years ago. Now he lived simply, away from the noise of stars and battles. But peace doesn't last forever. A small silver drone landed beside him. It opened, revealing a hologram, Earth Interstellar Command. Toma, said the voice of Commander Faye. We need you. He didn't look surprised. I'm not a soldier anymore. This isn't a war. It's a rescue. Toma said nothing. Faye continued. The Velari Queen's daughter is missing. She's a child. A distress call came from the Andari Nebula, a no-go zone. Too dangerous for their ships. Send a drone. We did. It never returned. Toma looked out at the river. Quiet. Still. I'm too old for this. You're not. Faye said, and you've never failed to bring someone home. Toma closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, they were sharp again, like they were years ago. When do I leave? The hangar at Earth's space dock lit up as the Ember Ray came to life. It was Toma's old ship, small, fast, and tough. It hadn't flown in years. But with some help from the station techs and Kilo, Toma's AI companion, it was ready again. Kilo's soft voice filled the cockpit. I ran the data. The signal came from inside the shard veil. You sure you want to go there? Not really, Toma replied. But she's a child. Kilo paused. Understood. Plotting course. Toma checked the photo on the screen. It wasn't clear. Just the face of a young Velari girl. Large bright eyes. Soft markings on her cheeks, and a necklace shaped like a moon. Her name was Lena. He had never met a Velari in person. They were a quiet species, noble and proud. They lived on beautiful crystal-covered planets and rarely asked humans for anything. If their queen had sent the call, it meant she had lost all hope. Toma looked at Lena's photo again. Hold on. KID, I'm coming. Aurelia, the capital of the Velari Dominion, was unlike any place Toma had seen. Floating towers shimmered in soft light. The air was cool, and everything smelled like flowers. But inside the queen's palace, the air was heavy with sorrow. Queen Nira stood tall, her long robes glowing slightly. Her skin shimmered like pearl, and her eyes were deep blue, full of pain. She said nothing at first, only looked at Toma as if measuring his soul. Finally, she spoke. They said you never leave anyone behind. I try not to, Toma replied. She stepped forward and handed him a small pendant, the same moon-shaped necklace from Linus. Photo. This belonged to her, she said. She wears it always. Toma took it gently. I'll bring her back. I cannot offer you glory or riches, the queen said. But if you return her to me, you will have my eternal gratitude. Toma nodded. I don't need anything, your grace. Just point me in the right direction. The queen's eyes softened. You are different from what I expected of a human. I get that a lot. Back in the Ember Ray, the engines hummed as the ship rose through Aurelia's sky. Coordinates locked. Kilo said. Toma stared out the window. Stars stretched across the black sky. Kilo, he said, play the message again. The child's voice echoed through the ship. Fear, confusion, and hope. Even without understanding the words, Toma could feel all of it. He whispered to himself, Just hold on, Lena. You're not alone. The Ember Ray shot into the stars, headed straight for the Andari Nebula, toward the Shard Veil, and whatever darkness waited inside. But Toma didn't care. He had one job: bring her home. The great hall of the Velari Palace was quiet except for the soft steps of Toma. As he followed the guards through shining corridors, the walls glowed faintly with colors that changed like the sky at sunset. Toma felt out of place. He was a human, simple and rough compared to the elegant Velari around him. They moved with grace, their skin shimmering like pearls, their long fingers tipped with delicate nails. Some had eyes like deep oceans, others like burning stars. But here, no one smiled. At the end of the corridor, a huge door opened silently. Inside, the queen waited. Queen Nera sat on her throne, tall and proud. But her shoulders looked tired. Round her, plants with glowing flowers bent toward her as if they felt her sadness. Her long silver hair flowed over her shoulders, but her eyes were heavy and her breathing was slow. When Toma entered, she looked at him closely. "You have come," she said softly. Toma nodded. "I'm here to find your daughter." Nera's eyes filled with pain. "Yes, Lena, my only child. She disappeared 3 cycles ago during a diplomatic mission. No one has found her." She stood slowly and walked down the steps of her throne. "You are not Velari. You have never walked in our lands. Why would you risk yourself for a child not your own?" Toma looked her in the eyes. "Because every life matters. Because I know what it feels like to lose someone you love." The queen studied him for a moment and then spoke. "Velari are proud and strong. We have great technology, but some places are lost even to us. The Andari Nebula, where the last signal came from, is dangerous. It is filled with storms of space dust and broken planets. Our ships do not dare go there." She paused and lowered her voice. "I asked many for help, but no one answers." Then your name came up. "Because I never give up," Toma said quietly. Nera gave a faint smile, the first Toma had seen. "Good, then you will need this." She reached into a small velvet box and pulled out a shining crystal device. It was about the size of a fist and hummed softly. "This is a Velari tracker," she explained. "If Lena is alive, it will pick up her energy signature. But it only works nearby. You must get close." Toma took the device carefully. "Thank you." The queen's hands trembled slightly as she took a deep breath. "I have no family left. Lena is my hope, my heart. If you find her, you bring back more than a child. You bring back a part of our world." Toma bowed his head. "I will bring her home." Outside the palace, the sun was low, casting long shadows across the crystal streets. Toma stepped back into the fresh air and breathed deeply. His ship waited in the hangar, ready to take him into the unknown. But before he left, a soft voice stopped him. "Toma." He turned to see a young Velari woman standing quietly. Her name was Mara, a member of the Queen's Council and the closest to Lena. "Lena told me stories of your kind," Mara said with a small smile. "She said humans were brave and kind, but also mysterious. I hope you can be the hero she believed." And Toma smiled back. "I hope so too." Mara's eyes were sad. "The Shard Veil is not like any place you have seen. Many ships have vanished there. You must be careful." "I know," Toma replied. "But I can't stop." She nodded. "If you find her, bring her safely. We will be waiting." Back on the ship, Toma settled into the cockpit. The crystal tracker glowed softly on the dashboard. Kilo, the AI, spoke in its calm voice. "Course set for Shard Veil. Estimated arrival in 30 hours. Toma looked at the stars outside. The space ahead was filled with broken moons, spinning slowly in silence. Asteroids floated like ghosts in the dark. The Andari Nebula was a place no one dared visit. The storms of space dust could tear ships apart. Strange signals and echoes confused even the best navigators. But Toma was not afraid. "Keep the engine steady," he said. "We're going in." As the Ember Ray moved deeper into the Shard Veil, the ship's sensors began to flicker. Kilo's voice was calm but concerned. "Energy readings are unstable. Unknown interference detected." Toma leaned forward. Show me. On the screen, strange shadows moved among the asteroids. Sometimes, faint lights blinked like distant eyes. Scavenger drones? Toma asked. Unknown. Kilo replied. Possibly left over from old wars. Toma tightened his grip on the controls. Keep us ready. No surprises. Hours passed in tense silence. The only sound was the hum of the ship and Kilo's soft reminders. Suddenly, the tracker on the dashboard pulsed, a soft green light. Got something, Kilo said. Signal is weak but nearby. Toma's heart quickened. Prepare for landing. The ship moved slowly toward a small, broken moon covered with metal ruins. The surface was cracked and dark, with strange towers and machines half buried in dust. This must be it, Toma said. Where the signal came from. The airlock opened with a hiss, and Toma stepped onto the silent moon. The ground was cold and rough beneath his boots. He activated the tracker, holding it steady as it beeped softly. The green light grew brighter. Toma moved carefully through the ruins. Shadows stretched long under strange towers. Suddenly, a soft humming sound came from a nearby building. He stopped and listened. It was quiet, but steady, like a heartbeat. Toma's voice was low. Lena? No answer. He took a deep breath and moved forward. Inside the building, the walls glowed faintly with old lights. Broken machines lined the floor. In the corner, a small figure sat wrapped in a thin blanket. Lena. Her eyes were wide and frightened. But when she saw Toma, she did not move away. Toma knelt and held out his hand. I'm here to take you home. The girl looked at him for a long moment, then reached out and took his hand. Toma smiled softly. We'll get you back safe. Back in space, the Ember Ray was a small light in the vast darkness. Toma looked ahead at the stars, thinking of the Queen and her lost daughter. He whispered, Hold on, Lena. We're coming home. The broken moon was cold and quiet. The heavy silence wrapped around Toma and Lena like a thick blanket. The soft humming from the old building faded as Toma helped Lena stand. Her small hand stayed in his, but her eyes were full of questions. Toma smiled gently. I'm Toma. I'm here to bring you home. Lena looked up, her large eyes searching his face. She didn't answer, but she nodded slowly. Outside, the sky was dark, dotted with stars shining coldly. Strange shadows stretched across the cracked surface of the moon. The ruins around them told stories of a forgotten war, shattered machines, twisted metal, and silent towers. Toma scanned the area with his handheld device. We need to get to the ship. Lena followed quietly, holding onto his hand like it was a lifeline. The journey back to the Ember Ray was not easy. The moon's surface was uneven, cracked with deep chasms and piles of broken metal. Toma moved carefully, carrying Lena when she stumbled. Suddenly, a faint noise echoed through the ruins. It was a mechanical clicking, soft but steady. Toma froze. Stay close, he whispered. From the shadows, small drones appeared. They were old, but still moving, with blinking red eyes and sharp limbs. Scavenger bots. Kilo warned over the comm. They are programmed to defend this area. Toma scanned his surroundings. The bots were circling, looking for signs of life. He grabbed a metal pipe lying nearby and waved it slowly. Back off. The bot stopped for a moment, then hissed and charged. Toma moved quickly. He swung the pipe, knocking one bot off balance. Lena cried out but stayed behind a large piece of debris. More bots came, clicking and buzzing loudly. Toma fought with careful strikes, protecting Lena as best as he could. He wasn't trying to destroy them, just keep them away. Finally, the bots retreated into the shadows, their red eyes disappearing. Toma breathed heavily. We're safe. For now. Lena looked at him with wide eyes. For the first time, she spoke one word clearly in her own language. Soma. Toma raised his eyebrows. Soma. Kilo's translator flickered on. It means protector in Velari tongue. Toma smiled, touched. I guess I am. When they reached the ship, Toma helped Lena inside and closed the heavy door. The cold silence of space replaced the danger outside. Lena looked around the cockpit, fascinated by the buttons and glowing screens. She pointed to a star map on the main panel. Toma nodded. That's where we're going, Aurelia. You're home. Lina's eyes filled with hope, but also fear. Toma knew the journey back would be hard. Don't worry, he said softly. I won't let anything happen to you. As the Ember Ray lifted off, Kilo spoke again. The shard veil is unstable. We must move quickly through the asteroid field. Toma nodded. Hold steady, Kilo. The ship glided through the field of broken moons and spinning rocks. Huge asteroids floated dangerously close, and sudden bursts of space dust clouded the sensors. Toma's hands were steady on the controls. Years of experience guided every move suddenly. The ship shook violently as it passed through a dust storm. Lights flickered, and alarms beeped. Damage report, Toma demanded. Minor hull. Breaches on the left side. Life support stable. No immediate danger, Kilo replied. Toma sighed. We need to get out of this fast. He pushed the engines harder, dodging rocks and debris. The storm raged, but the Ember Ray held strong. Hours passed in tense silence. Lina sat quietly in the passenger seat, watching the stars with wide eyes. Toma glanced at her and smiled. You're doing good. She reached out and touched the crystal tracker from the Queen, which still glowed softly on the dashboard. Kilo interrupted the comm. New energy readings detected. Unknown origin. Toma focused on the screen. A faint signal appeared nearby. Different from Lina's tracker, but real. Could be another life sign, Toma said. Or a trap. He studied the blinking light on the map. It was coming from a small asteroid drifting near a collapsed space station. Toma made a decision. Let's check it out. Maybe someone else needs help. The Ember Ray approached the station carefully. Its metal was old and rusted, but parts of it still glowed with faint blue light. Inside, shadows moved. Toma scanned the airlock before opening it. Stay close. He told Lina. They entered the station, moving slowly through dark corridors. The silence was thick, broken only by their footsteps and the soft hum of old machines. Suddenly, a voice echoed faintly, weak but clear. Help! Lina's eyes widened. Toma followed the sound to a small room where an old Velari scientist lay trapped under debris. He helped lift the heavy metal and free the scientist, who gasped for air. Thank you, the scientist whispered. I have been here for many cycles. My crew, gone. Toma checked the scientist's suit. We'll get you out. Back on the ship, the scientist introduced himself as Ryler, a researcher who had been studying the shard veil. He explained. Many dangers here. Old war machines, rogue drones, and space storms. You're lucky to have found Lina alive. Toma nodded. We're getting her home. Ryler smiled weakly. The Queen will be grateful. I will help you navigate the worst parts. Together, the small group prepared for the next leg of the journey. As the Ember Ray moved through the dark space, Toma looked at Lina. She was quiet, but no longer afraid. The trust between them was growing. He felt a new strength inside him. Not just a soldier on a mission, but a protector of hope. The stars outside seemed brighter now. The Ember Ray sailed smoothly through the dark stretch of space between the ruined station and the heart of the shard veil. Outside the windows, glowing clouds of space dust shifted like living waves. Stars blinked faintly through the mist. Inside, the mood was quiet but tense. Ryler, the old Velari scientist, sat in the small passenger seat. His breathing was slow but steady now, and he had begun to regain strength. Lina sat next to Toma, clutching the crystal tracker tightly. She watched the passing stars, her eyes full of wonder and hope. Toma checked the ship's instruments again. We're close to the coordinates the Queen gave me. Ryler nodded. Beyond this point lies the most dangerous part, the shard veil's core. It is a place where many ships disappear without a trace. Toma's jaw tightened. We don't have a choice. Kilo's voice broke the silence. Energy fluctuations increasing. Sensors detecting unusual readings ahead. Toma looked at the screen. Strange shapes moved through the dust, shadows. That didn't belong to any known object. Unknown ships? Toma asked. Possibly, Kilo answered. Or old war machines still active. Suddenly, the ship shook. A sharp vibration ran through the hull. Toma gripped the controls. What was that? Impact detected. Small debris hit the port side. Kilo said. Toma scanned the view ahead. Tiny fragments of metal and rocks spun around them like a swarm. We're in a debris field. Ryler said, a graveyard of lost ships. Toma's eyes narrowed. Keep U.S. steady, Kilo. The ship weaved through the storm of debris. Each movement was careful, precise. Suddenly, a glowing light flashed ahead, fast and bright. Toma's heart pounded. Something's coming. A sleek black ship shot out from behind an asteroid. It was unlike anything Toma had seen. Sharp edges, smooth curves, and glowing red engines. Hostile vessel detected, Kilo warned. The ship closed in quickly, its weapons locking onto the Ember Ray. Prepare for defense, Toma said, his voice calm but firm. The enemy ship fired a pulse of energy. The Ember Ray shook violently as shields flared. Toma dodged the next blast, pushing the engines to full power. Evasive maneuvers. Lena grabbed his arm, wide-eyed. What is happening? We're under attack, Toma said. Stay close. The black ship followed relentlessly, firing again and again. Toma skillfully avoided the blasts, using the debris for cover. Kilo's voice was urgent, shields failing. Recommend counterattack. Toma nodded. Hold tight. He targeted the enemy ship's engines and fired a pulse of his own. The blast hit true, and the black ship shuddered. Its red engines flickered and slowed. The enemy pilot did not give up. The ship darted away and disappeared into the mist. The Ember Ray was safe, for now. Toma wiped sweat from his brow. Who were they? Ryler frowned. Pirates, or worse, remnants of the old war, hunting anyone who enters the Shard Vale. Lena shivered but stayed silent. Toma looked at her and smiled. We're not giving up. As the ship moved deeper into the nebula, the air inside grew heavy with memories. Toma thought of his past, battles fought, friends lost, and the long years of peace he had sought. He had left war behind, but it had found him again. He glanced at Lena. She was not just a mission now. She was a reminder of hope, of new beginnings. Hours later, the tracker glowed stronger. They were close to Lina's signal. Suddenly, Kilo beeped urgently. Warning, power surge detected nearby. Toma studied the readings. The source was coming from a large derelict ship, much bigger than any they had seen in the Shard Vale. It's a relic, Ryler said quietly. A warship from the old times. The Ember Ray moved closer cautiously. The massive ship was broken but still powerful looking, its hull cracked and scarred. Toma's eyes narrowed. There's something alive on board. Inside the warship, dark halls stretched endlessly. Flickering lights cast long shadows. Toma and Lena entered carefully. With Ryler close behind, the air was stale, and silence hung thick. Suddenly, a low rumble echoed through the corridors. Toma's hand went to his sidearm, ready for anything. A figure appeared ahead, a tall Velari soldier, wearing ancient armor covered in dust. Who dares enter? The soldier demanded. Toma stepped forward. We come in peace. I'm here to find Lena. The soldier's eyes softened. You have found her. He motioned to a small room where Lina's belongings were kept. Toma saw a pile of clothes, a small toy, and a journal. Lena walked slowly to the items, touching them gently. The soldier spoke again. I was part of the mission that lost her. I have guarded this place ever since. Toma looked at him. Why did you not come for her sooner? The soldier sighed. The war trapped us here. I was the last survivor. Toma nodded. Now we'll all leave. Together, they made their way back to the Ember Ray. The soldier's knowledge helped them avoid dangers in the warship. Outside, the stars shone brightly as the ship lifted off. Back on the Ember Ray, Lena looked at the soldier with gratitude. Toma smiled. We're almost home. The Queen will be waiting. The Ember Ray sped away from the dark warship, leaving behind the broken shadows of the past. Lena sat quietly, clutching her small belongings close. The Velari soldier, whose name was Zirin, sat beside Toma, his expression calm but tired. Ryler leaned back, looking at the stars. The journey home will not be easy. The Shard Vale still holds dangers. Toma nodded. We've faced worse. We'll get Lena home safely. Days passed as the Ember Ray traveled toward Aurelia, the Velari homeworld. The stars stretched endlessly, but the small group found moments of peace. Lena began to speak more, learning words from Toma and Ryler. Her smile grew brighter, and the fear in her eyes slowly faded. One evening, Toma showed Lena pictures of her home on the ship's holoscreen, tall towers, bright gardens, and the Queen's great palace. Soon, he said softly, "You'll be there again." Lena's eyes sparkled. "Mom." But peace did not last long. Kilo's voice interrupted the calm. "Warning, unidentified ships approaching." Toma's hands moved quickly. "Show me." The screen filled with images of sleek, silver ships, official Velari patrols. Velari patrols. Ryler said, "They might not recognize us." Toma frowned. "We need to signal our identity." He sent a message using the Velari codes Ryler had given him. The ships paused but did not respond. Toma's voice was calm but firm. "We come in peace. We carry the Queen's daughter." Suddenly, one of the patrol ships fired a warning shot. Toma's eyes widened. "They don't believe." U.S. The Ember Ray shook as the patrol ships closed in. Lena cried out, clutching Toma's arm. Toma spoke firmly into the calm. "We are returning with Lena. Stand down." The patrol commander's voice came back cold and sharp. "Identify yourselves immediately or be boarded." Toma knew this was serious. The Velari took security seriously, especially with lost ships. Returning from the Shard Vale, "Prepare for boarding," he told Lena and the others. "Stay calm." The patrol ships locked onto the Ember Ray and sent boarding pods. Toma readied himself as the pods attached and the airlocks hissed open. Two Velari officers stepped aboard, tall, proud, and armed. One spoke first. "You are Toma, the human." Soldier Toma nodded. "Yes, I am here to return Lena to her mother." The officers exchanged looks but lowered their weapons slightly. "We have orders to verify your story," the second officer said. "Follow us." Toma, Lena, Ryler, and Zirin followed the officers through the ship. Lena stayed close to Toma, her hand gripping his tightly. In the main chamber, the officers began scanning the ship and checking data. Toma explained everything. The mission, the rescue, the dangers of the Shard Vale. The officers listened carefully. After a long silence, the lead officer spoke. "If what you say is true, then Lena must be returned to Queen Nira immediately." Toma nodded. "That's our goal." The officer hesitated. "We must take Lena for questioning. It is protocol." Lena's eyes filled with fear. Toma placed a hand gently on her shoulder. "I'll be with you." The officers led Lena and Toma to a small Velari cruiser nearby. Inside, the air was cold and filled with soft light. Lena looked around nervously. Toma squeezed her hand. "You're safe." The cruiser moved quickly toward Aurelia. On the way, Toma thought about the trials ahead. Returning Lena was only the first step. The Queen would have many questions. Would she trust a human who crossed the dangerous Shard Vale? Would she welcome Lena back with open arms? Toma hoped so. After hours, the cruiser landed in the shining city of Aurelia. Tall towers of crystal and light reached into the sky. Gardens bloomed with colors Toma had never seen. At the palace gates, guards awaited. The officers led Toma and Lena inside. In the throne room, Queen Nira stood tall but tired. Her eyes filled with tears as she saw Lena. "Mom," Lena whispered, running forward. Nira caught her daughter in a gentle embrace, tears flowing freely. Toma watched quietly, feeling warmth in his heart. The Queen turned to Toma. "You have brought back my daughter. I am forever grateful." Toma bowed. "It was my honor." Nira nodded. "But now, there are questions." She gestured to the officers. "They will need to speak with all of you." Later, Toma sat with the Queen and her council. They asked about the Shard Vale, the rescue, and the dangers ahead. Toma answered honestly, explaining every detail. The council listened carefully, impressed by his courage and determination. At the end, the Queen spoke softly. "You have proven yourself, Toma. You are a true protector, not only of one life, but of hope for all Velari." She smiled warmly. "You are welcome here." Toma felt a deep pride. Lena smiled up at him. "Thank you, Toma." The trials had not ended, But the hardest part was over. Toma knew he had made a difference, not just for Lena, but for two worlds connected by courage and kindness. The Palace of Aurelia was a place of wonder and peace, but beneath the sparkling walls, many questions still lingered. Toma stood quietly beside Queen Nera, watching as Lena reunited with her mother. The room was filled with soft voices, smiles, and tears. Yet, Toma knew his journey was not over. Days passed as Lena slowly settled back into life on Aurelia. The queen's servants tended to her every need, and the people around her welcomed the lost princess with open hearts. Lena learned about her home again, the gardens, the music, and the stories of her people. Toma stayed nearby, helping when he could, always ready to protect her. One morning, Queen Nera called Toma to her private chamber. "Toma," she said softly, "your bravery and kindness have touched my heart. I want you to stay here as my honored guest." Toma bowed. "Thank you, Your Majesty. It is a great honor." The queen smiled. "More than that, I want you to help heal the wounds between our worlds." Toma looked surprised. "How can I help?" The queen explained. "Our people have feared humans for many cycles, but your actions show there's hope for friendship." She handed him a small device. "This is a communication beacon. It will allow us to speak openly and build trust." Toma took the beacon carefully. "I will do my best." Meanwhile, Lena grew stronger each day. She and Toma often walked through the palace gardens, talking quietly about the stars and the future. One afternoon, Lena stopped by a fountain, watching the water sparkle in the sunlight. "Toma," she said, "will I ever feel safe again?" Toma knelt beside her. "You are safe now, Lena, and I will always protect you." She smiled faintly. "Thank you." But peace was not easy to keep. News arrived that some Velari leaders still doubted Toma's intentions. Old fears ran deep. The queen sighed. "There are those who see us as enemies, not friends." Toma nodded. "I understand. It takes time to change hearts." Ryler joined them in the council room. "I can help. I have studied the histories and can show the truth about our shared future." Together, they worked to prepare a message for the Velari people, a story of hope, courage, and unity. Toma's voice recorded words of peace and friendship. Lena added her own, telling of the kindness she found in a human soldier. The message was sent through the beacon, traveling fast across Aurelia. As the message spread, reactions came from every corner. Some welcomed the chance for peace, others remained silent, unsure. But slowly, walls began to fall. One evening, while walking in the palace, Toma noticed a group of young Velari watching him with curious eyes. He approached them with a gentle smile. "Hello," he said simply. One of the youths stepped forward. "Are you really a human?" Toma nodded. "Yes." The others whispered among themselves. The young Velari asked many questions about Earth, about humans, about the stars. Toma answered honestly, sharing stories of his home and his journey. By the time the sun set, laughter and friendship had grown. Lena watched from nearby, her heart full. But shadows from the past were never far. Late one night, the palace security alerted Toma and the queen to a breach. A small group of unknown figures had entered the palace grounds. Toma and the guards moved quickly to intercept them. In the quiet halls, Toma confronted the intruders, spies sent to disrupt the peace. They demanded Lena's return to an unknown enemy. Toma stood firm. "Lena belongs here, with her mother." A tense standoff followed. Suddenly, the queen's guards arrived, surrounding the intruders. The spies were captured and taken away. Toma breathed deeply. This peace will be protected. The queen placed a hand on his shoulder. "Together, we are stronger." The next day, the queen held a public gathering in Aurelia's Grand Plaza. She spoke to her people about courage, trust, and the future. Lena stood beside her, smiling brightly. Toma watched from the side, feeling hope grow in his chest. The journey had been hard, but now a new chapter was beginning. Two worlds, once distant and afraid, were starting to understand each other. Toma knew that together, they could face whatever the stars might bring. The day had finally come. Aurelia's twin suns rose slowly, bathing the great city in golden light. The streets were filled with people from all over the Velari homeworld, gathered to witness a moment that would change history forever. At the palace courtyard, Queen Nera stood tall and proud. Beside her, Lena held her mother's hand tightly. Nearby, Toma stood quietly, his gaze steady but full of hope. For years, the Velari had lived in fear and isolation. Old wars and ancient grudges kept their worlds apart. But today, thanks to courage, kindness, and a brave human soldier, the future looked brighter. The queen raised her hand for silence. "My people," she began, her voice strong and clear. "Today we welcome not just a daughter return, but a new chapter for our people. A chapter of peace, friendship, and shared dreams." The crowd erupted in cheers. Toma felt a hand on his shoulder. He turned to see Lena smiling up at him. "Thank you," she whispered. He smiled back. "Thank you for trusting me." The celebration went on, filled with music and laughter. Toma and Lena walked through the gardens, now alive with colors and life. Lena stopped by a sparkling pond. "Toma, do you think humans and Velari will be friends forever?" Toma looked at the bright sky. "I believe so. When we choose kindness over fear, anything is possible." But the future held more than celebration. In a quiet room, Queen Nera, Toma, Ryler, and Zirin gathered around a star map. "We have much work ahead," the queen said. "The galaxy is vast, and there are others who may not welcome this peace." Ryler nodded. "Our knowledge and strength together will be our greatest weapon." Zirin looked at Toma. "Your courage has given us hope. Together, we will protect it." Toma felt a strong bond grow between them, not just as allies, but as friends. Days later, Toma stood on the observation deck of the palace, watching ships arrive from distant systems. The beacon he carried sent signals of peace far beyond. Ayuri Elia. Suddenly, the communicator beeped urgently. "Report," Toma said. A voice replied. "A new fleet is approaching. Unknown origin." Toma's heart quickened. He knew the galaxy held many secrets, some dark, some full of promise. He turned to the Queen's guards. "Prepare for contact. We greet with open hands, but stand ready." The fleet arrived, ships large and gleaming, unlike any they had seen before. A message came through the beacon. "We come in peace. We seek friendship and alliance." Toma smiled, feeling hope rise again. "Prepare a welcome party," he said. The new visitors landed in Aurelia's great plaza, their leaders tall and graceful. "Step forward." Queen Nera greeted them warmly. "We are glad to meet new friends," she said. The visitors nodded. "Together, we can face the stars." As days passed, Toma learned of new worlds, new ideas, and new hopes. The galaxy was bigger than he ever imagined, but with friends. No challenge was too great. Lena played with children from many worlds, laughing and learning. The queen watched, her heart full. One evening, Toma and Lena stood beneath the sparkling stars. "Do you miss Earth?" Lena asked softly. Toma looked up. "Sometimes, but I have a new home now, here, with you and your people." Lena smiled. "I'm glad." The galaxy was no longer a place of fear and war. It was a place of light, of friendship, and of dreams that stretched beyond the stars. Toma knew that the future was theirs to build together. As the twin suns set over Aurelia, casting warm light across the world, Toma felt a deep peace. The journey had been long and hard, but now a new dawn had come, a dawn where humans and Velari stood side by side, not as strangers, but as family. And in that light, the stars shone brighter than ever before.